Hey everybody, I am going to do a real quick solving equations review with you just to make sure we're all on the same page. So if you'd like to write this down in your notebook, that would be wonderful, or just follow along. We will be solving equations in a variety of methods throughout geometry. So it's really important that we understand the basics of solving equations so that we can, you can get to the final answer. A lot of times the geometry is the first step, and then you have to finish the problem by using algebra. So we don't want algebra to keep you from passing geometry. So we just need to make sure we're okay with these solving equations. Okay, so just a reminder, in solving equations, we're always trying to get the variable by itself. So we call that isolate the variable. So I look here and I see that I have a 5x, and that's my only term with a variable. So I want to get that by itself over here on the left. So I'm going to remove this minus 3, and I'm going to move it to the other side by adding 3. We always do the opposite operation. So to undo a minus 3, we plus 3 to both sides. And remember, if you want to think of, there's like a brick wall right here where this equal sign is. So whatever we do to one side, we also have to do to the other side. And that's keeping our equation balanced. So minus 3 plus 3 is 0. So that goes away to 0. And then I'm going to bring down the 5x on the left, bring down my equal sign, leave it in the same spot. 17 plus 3 is 20. Okay, so now I have my variable term by itself. So now if I want to get this x alone, I got to get rid of this 5. So right here in between the 5 and the x is what operation? Okay, there's a times sign right there. So to get rid of times, the opposite of times is divide, or the opposite of multiply is divide. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. When you divide a number by itself, that essentially cancels it out to 1. So we have x on the left, and 20 divided by 5 is 4. Okay, and if we wanted to do a quick double check, we could take our original equation, 5 times whatever answer we got for x, minus 3, question mark, does that equal 17? So if I put this 4 back in here and I do an order of operations, 5 times 4 is 20, 20 minus 3, 17 equals 17. So I know I got the right answers. It evaluates that back out. Okay, all right, so that's kind of the easiest kind of question. So I'm going to do 2 more, one where we have variables on both sides, and then one where we have multiple variables on one side. Okay, so the next problem is 8x plus 6 equals 4x minus 18. Again, our entire goal is to get the variable by itself. So what I'm going to do first, just to get us back in the swing of things, is I'm going to put a box around the terms that have the variable. So this 6 does not have a variable. This 4x has a variable, and then the 18. Okay, so since there are more than one variable term, since there is more than one variable term, I'm going to get those together first. So again, brick wall here. So if I want to, I like to move the smaller x value to the bigger. It's not really a requirement. You can move them to either side. Okay, I'm going to move one of these over. If I choose to move the 8x over to this side, I'm going to minus 8x because this is a positive 8x, so I take away 8x. This is a positive 4x. If I want to move it to the other side, the opposite of a positive 4x is a minus 4x. Okay, so that's what I'm going to go ahead and do first. I'm going to take away 4x, and notice that I line them up under those x terms because I can't take 4x away from a 6 and combine those since they do not both have an x value. So 4x minus 4x is nothing. 8x minus 4x is going to leave me with 4x. 8 minus 4 is 4. Then I bring down the plus 6, bring down the equal sign. This is now gone, and I have a positive 18. You don't need to write the plus sign. If it's a minus sign, you have to write that and bring it down as a negative. But if it's positive, you don't have to. Okay. So now here's my variable term. There's only one of them now. So I'm going to get my other numbers, whatever I have left. I need to get those together on the other side. So variables on one side, numbers to the other side. So I'm going to move this positive 6x over to the other side. So what's the opposite of positive 6? Minus 6. So plus 6 minus 6 goes away. So I'm left with 4x over here. And then 18 minus 6 is 12. We almost have the x by itself now. So the very last step is to get rid of whatever's in front of the x. And what operation is connecting the 4 to the x? What operation is right in here? Multiply. So the opposite of multiply is divide. Almost always the last step is going to be divide. Not every single time, but almost always. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Great. So again, if we wanted to do a quick check, 8, going back to our original equation, 8 times whatever we got for x plus 6, question mark, does that equal 4 times whatever we got for x plus 18? So I'm going to put the value I got for x, which was 3. If I put a 3 right here in both of these, does that give us the same value on either side of the equal sign? 8 times 3 is 24. 24 plus 6 is 30. Over here, 4 times 3 is 12. 12 plus 18 makes 30. So those are the same value. Cool? All right, one last example. And again, we'll go over more of these in class. We'll do them as we go through our examples, but it's a good idea to have at least a foundation of solving equations. And if you're looking at this going, oh my gosh, I have no idea how to do any of this, I never learned this, you need to come to tutoring. Okay, come to the office hours in the afternoon, ask questions, let me help you, we can go over it, I can get you solving equations in 15 minutes. Okay, promise. All right, so the last one, we have this kind of really long equation. So we have 3x plus 45 plus 4x minus 11 equals 90. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to go ahead and pause the video if you feel comfortable doing the first step, and then check your first step with mine and see if you got it right. And then same thing, pause and see if you can work your way through and get the same answer I get. Okay. All right, so first step is to find all of our x terms. Now notice right here, this is a positive 4x, so I'm going to include that plus sign with the 4x as well, because that tells me how we're going to combine those together. Okay, and those are my only x terms. So this time, my equal sign is way over here. So do you see how these are on the same side of the equal sign? So I'm just going to combine those together. I don't have to move them to the other side. I don't do opposite operation. They're on the same side. I'm just going to combine them together. If all you saw was 3x plus 4x, you would tell me that that was how much? Right, 3x plus 4x is 7x. You don't have to do anything special or fancy to that. You just combine them together. Okay, and then this other stuff that I have here in the middle, or on the same side of that equal sign, you see how I have two constants here? I need to combine those together and make those into one term as well. So if you saw a math problem, let's see if I can do this. If you saw a math problem and it said 45 minus 11, you would tell me that that's what? 45 minus 11 is 34? Or you can use a calculator, that's fine. And it's going to be a positive 34, right? Because we have 45 positives and we're taking away 11 from that. So that's going to be a positive 34. So I've just combined all of this stuff over here on the left, combine my x's, combine my constants, and now I have my equal sign and the 90. I haven't done anything with that. And now look, our problem looks exactly like the first problem that we started with. Okay, we're going to get back to this point. Here's our x term. We're going to get that by itself. So what value are we going to move? We want to get rid of what number? We want to get rid of this 34, and we want to move it to the other side. So how do we get rid of a positive 34? We take away 34. 7x 34, positive 34, take away 34 is 0, so we don't need that. 90 minus 34 is, ooh, it is early. 90 minus 34 is 56. Almost need a calculator for that one. And our last step, 7 times what number? 7 times what number equals 56? So to get rid of a times, we're going to divide. X equals 56 divided by 7 is 8. 8. if I wanted to, I'm not going to, but if I wanted to, I could plug this 8 back into here. I could just type into my calculator, 3 times 8 plus 45 plus 4 times 8, replacing the x with the 8, minus 11, hit enter, it will give me 90. Okay, so these are the basics. These are the 3 most common types of equations that we see in geometry. If we have anything more than this, we will make sure that we go over those kind of in depth. And again, we will review these as we go along. But it's good to have a little bit of a foundation, okay? So your assignment is posted. Go ahead and try those couple of equations. Make sure you are showing your work and solving on a separate sheet of paper. And all right. And make sure you ask if you have questions. That's what we're here for. Mr. Reeder and I are your math teachers for a reason. We are here to help you with math. If you have a question, we will gladly answer it at any time. Okay? All right. Love you. Bye.